going on, everybody? What's going on? It's your boy Deonte Burden, aka Mr. Short Dollar himself. Want to come to you guys with a quick live feed today. Your boy been humping his tax season and 21, 22 years in the game. I don't know how long exactly I've been having fun doing this stuff. Had got like a little quick break. I'm back at the crib and everything. So I want to do a live feed because I talk about this a lot in regards to tax preparation, but a lot of people that are self-employed in business and they have a lot of assumptions of what they think are actual business tax deductions. Let me make sure I get this mic up to me pretty good. But they have a big assumption in regards to what they think is truly business tax deductions. And what we mean by business tax deduction, these are true things that you can write off for your business. Far too often people get an idea because they've seen it on the internet and they figure that, hey, this is what you can write off and this is what true business expenses, but they really aren't. And because people don't know and it sounds good, they write stuff off. And just like yesterday, I got somebody called me. They didn't come to me to get the taxes done, but they called me because they didn't know what was going on. And they got one of them audit letters from the IRS because, you're letting wrong people do it or you're not using the correct information, what really are, quote unquote, business tax deductions for your business. You're assuming. And what I want to do is just run across a couple of business tax deductions, some that are pretty common, talk about some do's and don'ts. And you guys feel free to actually, put in the chat any question that you do may have. It's not going to be a long feed because I got to go pick my kids up. I got strung out a little long. I meant to do this early in the day, but hopefully I can get a lot of people in with your questions and everything. But definitely want to go over this because there are a lot of people that went down the road of entrepreneurship that are self-employed. And you know what? The channel is set to help you guys out with all the great information that we do have. So definitely, if you have any questions, feel free to put in the chat any question you have. Right now, we're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Twitter. Again, I am Deonte Burden, aka Mr. Short Dollar himself. The main hub is the Mr. Short Dollar YouTube channel where we talk about personal finance, business, entrepreneurship, investment. We got over 600 videos on the YouTube channel. Grant playlist, over 150 grant opportunities for you guys to take advantage of. Regardless of what hub that you're looking at us right now, if you're looking at us TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, appreciate you guys tuning in. But the main hub is the Mr. Short Dollar YouTube channel. Okay, that is the main hub, Mr. Short Dollar on YouTube. Go there, subscribe, take advantage of all the great information on there. Now, with that said, guys, I am an accountant by profession. Been in the tax preparation game as an owner over 20 years. And what I try to do is share some of the experiences that I've had in regards to the tax preparation, especially in regards to different deductions and write-offs that a business owner can have. So I'm going to give you guys some common business tax deductions that you guys take advantage of 2022. These are some of the most common, that being, mileage, vehicle expenses, retirement savings, insurance premiums. Let's get close to this mic. Insurance premiums, office supplies, home office expenses, credit card and loan interest, phone and internet costs, business meals, business travel, startup costs, continuing education, subscription and memberships, advertising, and self-employment tax. Now, what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go through majority of them, kind of just we're going to talk about it and everything. So, if you got any questions, just let me know. Okay, cool. See what we got. Y'all got to bear with me. I'm trying to read it. It's coming in here. This is Truth Rain Blake. I'm sorry if I mispronounced. Say you do Uber. Great. And one good thing with people in the gig industry, that being Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, and everything, they're not going to start doing the 1099K process. They didn't do that this year. I'm pretty sure everybody knows that because you didn't get anything in the mail. They may have sent some stuff depending on what company you use, but they definitely going to be reporting it to the IRS definitely next year because they're still trying to work out the kinks in the system. But definitely, guys, make sure you're taking advantage of all the information that you reporting the information that you got as income, but definitely take advantage of all the information in regards to actually be able to look at those tax deductions for that. I want to give a couple quick disclaimers. Guys, we go down the world of entrepreneurship and we get into the world of business, period. Guys, I want you guys to understand that don't go so crazy and being like, I got to write this off. I don't write this off, right? When we're in business, you got to look at things from two perspectives, right? You can have your business that, hey, listen, I might have my job. That's my anchor. And I'm doing something on the side. It may be gigging, like I say, DoorDash and Uber, lifting, or it may be, okay, well, I'm trying to set something up, but this can be my main thing to do. Well, I think a lot of people miss out on is because the thought process is that I can actually write all this stuff off. You don't think about big picture wise in the long term. Just say if you want to grow your business, you want to get into funding, you've turned around win a year or two of writing all these massive losses off, and then you want to go to the bank and get any kind of financing or to help you grow your business. The bank is going to give you anything because the bank is like, why the hell we loan you the damn money? You already have a proven track record of losing money. Why we give you some of our money to lose? So it's kind of something to keep in mind when we're doing this stuff. Question is, hey, can you do my taxes? Absolutely. Go to the YouTube channel. My company is Majestic Business Services. You can visit us on the web at www.majesticbiz.com. That's majesticbiz.com. You can find us there. And also, if you go to any one of the videos on the YouTube channel, all our links are there, from the company links, all the different social media platform links, all the office phone number, all that stuff is on in the description section of the videos on the YouTube channel. So again, all the points of contact and everything is there. So if you looking to get in contact with us, anything like that forward, you can reach us and find all the different ways to get in contact with us in the description section of each video on the YouTube channel. Okay. With that said, guys, just going through the expense, but keep that in mind when we start talking about writing everything off, because far too often, too many times people get into business. They may be on one path of thinking in regards to, I just want to make a little additional income. Now I want to start growing it because I'm having success. But then you've been doing it for a couple of years. Then when you want to expand and you present the tax returns for the past couple of years, it's at a loss. Also, keep in mind, just say if you're making additional income, you want to purchase a car, you want to purchase a house. That Schedule C that you're reporting that you feel like, okay, they didn't put me in a position to get a bigger refund, it actually be a detriment because, again, that's lowering your taxable income, and actually the money that you can report as far as income to be able to get approval for the car or the home. So just kind of keep that stuff in mind, okay? All money ain't always good money, especially when we start looking at big picture wise, okay? We're talking about some tax business deductions, these write-offs write-offs you can write for your small business. I will tell you, okay, so this, if you guys got any questions, maybe some things you heard sound too good to be true, I'm an accountant by profession. Feel free, to ask me any questions that you guys have while you got me on right now. The first one is mileage and vehicle expenses, guys. As in 2022, the IRS standard millage rate is 58.5 cents. That's from January to June 3rd, 2022, and 62.5 cents July 1st through December 31st. Okay. Pretty much, guys, when you have your vehicle and stuff, keep in mind, when a lot of times people want to write off, especially mileage and stuff like that, be very careful. Make sure you keep proper documentations and things like that. I just told you I got a phone call yesterday. Somebody got audited, putting all kind of stuff on the Schedule C. They brought it to us. I'm like, look, you need to go to the person that did your taxes. I can tell you exactly what this is. But they need, you got to be very careful of that. And one thing, just from a common sense perspective, you do have first year things that can happen, like your base, where we talk about startup costs, but you can't have a gazillion miles that you've driven and did in your business, and you don't have any corresponding income or something to put in relation to it. First year, you may do some moving around to get things done, but just from a common sense standpoint, who is going to be that busy and not making anything? So just kind of be very careful. So when we talk about those vehicle expenses, anything that, again, in relation to what in the operation of the business, that to be in the operation of the business, that vehicle, anything you have to do for maintenance, fuel, repairs, things like that, but it has to be in relation to the business. Okay. Well, you just asked the question, can I write off my phone bill and car note? No, you can't write off a car note, because we'll get to that with doing that phone bill, as long as everything is in relation to the business, not your car, not your phone bill, the business phone bill, not your phone bill, the business phone bill. That's what we got to kind of make sure we got this understood. You can say, well, listen, I use it for my business. What do you mean? At the end of the day, if you get audited and they ask, okay, who's this? And you got your name on there, you got to explain. And you just saying that I use it for that, I don't know how far they're going to go. I'm 20 years in the game, and over 20 years in the game, and I can tell you right now, you want to get as much stuff out of your name, you have it just in the business name. We're doing it. It is not nothing difficult. You want to call T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, get it switched over to the business name, and do it from there. Make it a whole lot cleaner, a whole lot easier. Just in case if you have to tell somebody, okay? What's going on, Reek? Reek gave me some good advice yesterday. Guys, also keep in mind, I don't know if I got my show tomorrow at Misfits TV. I don't know if we're doing Mr. Short Dollar or Change the Lives, but we got a show going at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right now, we're talking about business tax deduction, some common write-offs that a small business can have. Also, you can have retirement savings, guys. Retirement savings, guys, that's anything that you put in, like your self-employment plan, that's self, if you put in your own self-employed 401k. You actually have opportunities where, you can actually cap it out a certain amount. I think in 2002, self-employed person could contribute up to $61,000 into one a solo 401k. You have all these actual. Let me go into this for 1 second. A lot of times I have a lot of people come to me. They actually have a high net income. What I mean by net income, the revenue minus expenses, and that's number you can get taxed on. And they're trying to look at how can I lower my taxable income. I'm self-employed. The business is making a lot of money. When I bring up that you can actually go buy you any kind of your retirement product, be it your SEP IRA, traditional IRA, Roth IRA, you can actually cap those out. A lot of times people don't want to do that because you're putting the money up somewhere. And they're not looking at it like this is an asset you own. We will get, as long as you keep living, you will get old one day. And when you get old, you're not going to want to keep working and working and working and working. So if you are self-employed, you need to be putting yourself in a position where you can take care of yourself. So no, you may not have that $5, $10, $15, $20,000 in your bank account that you can touch, but you can go get this asset that you own, put it in that retirement account, lower your taxable income. So now you're not getting taxed at $50,000, you're getting taxed at $35,000 because you put 15 grand in a retirement account. It's growing, you're contributing to it each year, it's accruing interest, it's getting bigger, and you own it, and you will be able to use it in the next 10, 15, 20 years whenever you reach retirement age, right? So at that point, that's fine. But it just seems that somehow, because people can't tangibly touch that money or get access to it, they don't want to do it. And I'm just telling you, you're going to get it old one day. And there's an easy way for you to actually be allocating that money. And you actually have different products, even with my children. Each one of my children, I got a 529 education plan through the state of Georgia. We got all of them were born. And I can't even remember how much it's capped out, but I think it gets up to $2,000, $2,500 that you could write off on your state taxes for the state of Georgia for that particular 529 plan. But I've used that religiously for all my kids, and I'm just saying those are products. I own that. So each one of them, I got one graduating in about 4 or 5 months. That money's there. I've been putting it. He's 17. Been putting money in since he was like a week old, and it's there. It's there. Again, we got to get out of the thought process because you can't touch the money. Now I want to do something with it. You don't want to pay a lot in taxes, but you want to keep all the money in your hand. You got to be realistic about some things. You still want to own it. You got that bill that's going to come up. You're going to get old. You got, kids or grandbabies that may be going to college and stuff like that. Start thinking outside the box and some of the products that you can invest in that you actually, like I said, you still have ownership of. You just need to make sure that you have the proper things in place. What is True saying? I was thinking about becoming a non-citizen national. Can I write off my phone bill and car note? Can use answer. So I need to start my LLC, then file. Here's the deal. What you do in 2023 is not applicable to what you do in 2022. Keep that in mind. Always, guys, when you filing your taxes now, you're filing your tax for what you did last year. So what you do this year cannot be applied towards anything you done or in operation for last year. But if you do it now going forward, that'll be fine. Okay. The next thing is insurance premiums. You can often deduct insurance premiums from various policy types, including but not limited to business liability, malpractice, business credit insurance, business insurance against damage, fire, accidents, auto insurance for business vehicles, not your car, business interruption insurance, personal medical insurance, personal dental insurance. insurance is so pivotal. Remember, I told you guys, me being an accountant, one of the biggest drawbacks about this business, not a drawback, but just being realistic, but there's no barrier to entry. You don't have to use us to get your business started. You don't have to sometimes you might have to get insurance, but you typically don't necessarily have to get a lawyer. You typically don't necessarily have to get uh, an accountant, but most times you might be required to get, depending on where you set up, you might have to get some kind of insurance policy going. Guys, you want to make sure you got that stuff covered. You can write it off. And until something bad happens, you don't really think about it. But stuff happens now. If stuff may happen to you is when. You stay around long enough with doing stuff might pop up. Nobody have mistakes on purpose. So you want to be able to protect yourself. You do it with life insurance. You do it with your car insurance. You do it with your business, okay? Make sure you protect yourself. You can write that stuff off, okay? All right? The next thing is office supplies, the paper, pens, ink, packaging, things like that. You write it off. Those are common things you can write off that you use in relation to the business. Keep going back to that, guys. Keep going back. I've heard so much information, people, where you can spend this and form a business. It got to be done in relation to the business. If you bought some stuff for your house, you put that stuff on your tax return that's business related. I'm telling you, if it's something come up, you got to prove yourself. I just seen the letter yesterday, and that's why I just sitting there like the person was asking me, what? The first problem was they didn't come to me. That's the first damn problem. They didn't come to me. And the next thing is like, how can you fix it? Like, you gotta go to people, at the end of the day, you just gotta kind of piecemeal stuff together. Especially if it's just, if you knew it wasn't true. You want to do things the right way. A lot of times we can put stuff on a return, assuming, I get it, but there is no, excuse for ignorance. At the end of the day, once you sign your name at the bottom of the tax return, you're saying that you know what you were doing and everything. Coming back later, say, I didn't know, I thought this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for you, me preparing your return. Once we sign it, we're saying that, okay, to my knowledge, everything on here is true. Like I said, it goes for the actual individual and a preparer, right? Just keep that in mind. So you want to make sure you are abreast with the correct information instead of the information you like to hear the best, okay? The next thing is credit card loan and interest. Credit card loan and interest. So with that said, going back to the question that was earlier, can I write off my car note? Here's the deal, guys. You can write off rental payments. Rental payments being the lease that you have on an office space or things like that, and a lease on a vehicle because you're renting it. When you actually get a loan, a car loan, you can depreciate that asset. That means you have that asset. You bought the car for $3,000. Car has a useful life for its accounting and tax purposes, just like 3 years. So you're depreciating it over a 3-year period. That cost of that vehicle, right? You have what we call a 179. We can expense the whole thing out at one time. That you have those options, but you can't write off the note. Now, what you can deduct is the interest on the note that you're paying on. You can deduct the interest, just like you can deduct the interest for the credit cards that you're paying on, but you cannot deduct the actual car note. Keep it. I hope I understood on that. The lease payment that you're paying because you rent it, you can write that off, but the car note you cannot. If you're doing that, and because you have not got a call, does not make it right. I'm telling you, you cannot write off the car note. You can depreciate the car and write off the interest for the payments, right? But outside of just the $800 some for that, no, you can't do that. And keep in mind, we still go back to what we said earlier. It needs to be something used in relation to the business. If you ever get called where you have to explain and show documentation, you could be in a bad way if you can't show, legitimately. You just saying, well, I bought it, I drive around and stuff like that. You guys got to protect yourself, okay? And I appreciate any one of you guys that tune into the YouTube channel to get information. That's great. But you check me, double check. Go try to find as many credible people as possible instead of people telling you what you want to hear. And a lot of times, far too often, we be in a situation where we see people, they look good, they sound good, they, just everything seems right, and they probably aren't the best people to give you that kind of information, okay? So anytime you want to look at business deductions and business write-offs and stuff like that, make sure you're getting the right counsel, right? You want to make sure you're getting the right counsel. with doing it. Talk to several accountants. Talk to several credible tax preparers. Talk to anybody that you know that's probably seasoned with that particular information, instead of people that actually giving out free information that don't, they're not from from that world of doing it. I can lose weight. I can share my personal weight loss journey, but at the end of the day, what I did for me is what I did for me, and it may not be the best thing for the next person. So just keep that in mind, okay, guys? Let me see what we got next. I'm sure flying through everything. Phone and internet costs. Again, you got to make sure that phone and that internet is being used in relation to the business. Again, I can't stress this enough to make everything cleaner and easier on you guys. Just protect yourself for auditing purposes, just in case it happens. Try to get as much stuff into the business name as you can. Try to get as much stuff in the business name as you can, as opposed to you got in your name, something happened. I'm just saying, guys, it'd be tougher to prove. Okay. Right now, since they're using so much artificial intelligence and they're trying to grow with the growing staff, that being the IRS, they have a lot of software and equipment in place right now that are catching trends and things like that. You may not have been doing nothing wrong. You may not have been trying to intentionally do anything wrong, but you have a difficult time trying to prove yourself if you don't have the proper things in place. So just keep that in mind. Phone and internet costs. Um, and, I'm trying to just go through my list, guys. Remember, guys, you need to make sure this stuff is done in business, done in relation to your business meals. If you have a meal that qualifies in 2022, you can generally deduct the full cost, including tax and tips. The 100% deduction is an exception. However, for years 2020, for 2021, 2022, users up to 50%. Prior to that, but those part of things accounted with the pandemic. They had made adjustments, so it's still going to 100% for your 2022. Probably next year in 2023 tax return, you won't be able to take advantage of that. But even with the meals, but guys, again, make sure that it is used for the business. Same thing with business travel. I know you guys have seen these videos. They're saying you can go take your whole family on a dang cruise, and as long as you did a business meeting there, that will cover you. No hell. No hell. I mean, just think from a logical standpoint, how could you write off taking your family on a cruise or taking them on a trip, and because you met somebody, you can write it off? No, you can only write off what you did in relation to the thing, not the travel costs for your family and friends. And it's still in proportion. If you got a business that's only making a couple $100 a year, and you got a $5,000 business expense, you're asking to get audited. How do you justify that you're going on all these cruises and spend all this money to do things in relation to a business? You're not making any money. The only year you probably get away with that is your first year because of startup costs. And again, you make a little bit in the second year where they may be a little lenient. They're still trying to grow. But for the most part, guys, you can't do that. Just because you don't get a call does not make it right. So you got to be careful about that, okay? Again, just from a common sense standpoint, you're not making any money with this business, so it's a small nominal amount in regards to the amount of money that you have coming in, but you have all these different exuberant business travel, hotel fees, and stuff like that. You have to get your ass out there. And I'm just telling you guys, you got to be careful with all these particular things, okay? Next one being startup costs. Like I said, the initial startup costs for the business, you typically deduct up to $5,000 in startup costs. But the limit is reduced if your expenditures exceeded $50,000. Like some of these things can be amortized, where, like I said, again, we can do that depreciation scale over a certain period of time. You can do that. If you're not really familiar with this stuff, I would say that you should get you probably some kind of accountant or seasoned tax preparer to initially do your tax returns. And you can always go back later and look at things, review them, pay them to actually maybe give you some consulting just in case you want to do it on your own eventually. And but I definitely wouldn't be trying to do a lot of this stuff if you're not really familiar with it. Okay, don't put yourself in a bad situation if you don't have to. Okay, continue educational training. That's any kind of training that you may have in relation to your business. Any kind of you want to take any kind of classes, any kind of seminars, group meetings and things like that. You can write that off, especially again, it has to be in relation to your business. Okay, you paying for your meditation or cooking class, and you actually have a trucking business and things like that. Okay, just can't do it. Okay, be smart, be smart, be smart, because again, it's not that you have bad intentions, but again, if you don't plan to get caught, which no one does, it's one thing. It's just when it happens, can you answer the questions? And a lot of times people not able to answer questions because typically they don't get the letters like the young lady got yesterday. She got a letter in regards to the 22 taxes. You might get that letter a hell a year from now, but they got that because they're not going. The IRS is not releasing funds um, for these earned income tax credit. If they stop it right then and now, they're holding it up. And we need proof of dependence. We need proof of the business. We need proof of residency. Now you scrambling trying to get all this documentation together. You're trying to get all these particular things together. And you don't know what the hell this stuff is. You're trying to live your life. You're trying to work and do all this kind of stuff. But you just you went to somebody, you got to playing with your TurboTax and all that kind of stuff, and it looked good. And that little number in the corner kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger because you're playing with it, and it can't make it bite you in the butt. Be smart, guys. Be smart. Subscriptions and memberships, like any kind of groups that you particularly that join in relation to the business, any kind of groups that you join in relation to the business, not your actual fraternity and sorority dues and things like that. Nah, they ain't got nothing to do with the business, guys. You can you can do what you want to do, but again, you have to be able to answer the questions if you ever get asked. Okay, so you got to be very, very careful that again, everything has to be done in relation to the business. Okay, it has to be done. That club has to be part of it. So if you're actually a member of something, and you actually do things in the action of your business, and it requires you to maybe join these particular groups or take some kind of classes or education from what you're doing. Those things can be wrote off, but just things you're doing outside of that, be careful. Okay. I'm interested in starting ride sharing. They're realistic. Of course, it's realistic. We're doing. I don't know if I'm understanding your question correctly. In regards to that, the next thing has been advertising. Advertising. Most companies don't really spend in too much money in regards to advertising. We all know advertising is the lifeblood of your business. You that amount of money that you spend to actually grow your business, to get exposure in different platforms and stuff like that, you can write that off doing it. That's one of the main common ones you have. And lastly is the self-employment tax. This is probably one of the downside of being your own boss is the self-employment tax, which is currently at 15.3%, which breaks down to 12.4 of Social Security and Medicare, that being what we sometimes look at being the FICA or that self-employment tax. The good news is you generally can deduct half of it when you calculate your adjusted gross. While most people won't impact your net self-employment earnings or tax liability, it will reduce your income tax. Self-employment tax, what a lot of people missed. I did the video a couple weeks ago. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it was about a week ago with the so many people now are filing these S corps, and they don't have a W-2 wage. You have to have someone because the S corp, the bottom number is only liable for federal tax, but theoretically, you're supposed to have a waged employee being an employee that gets a W-2, that gets W-2 income during that process. And a lot of people have not had a W-2 employee during that process. And what's happening is that those particular businesses will get letters, will get penalties, will get fees. And that's going to probably bite a lot of people in the butt by not having those particular things in place. Let me see what we got. This right here. Put a couple of these links into the chat with you guys. Right now, if you're looking at us on TikTok and Instagram, you guys aren't necessarily seeing the whole chat in regard to what's going on with the chat. You probably be a couple things that you are missing out on with that because we have live stream discussion on there. I'm putting links for the extra YouTube channel in that as well. Again, go to the YouTube channel, Mr. Short Dollar, And so we take advantage of a lot of this great information. Guys, a couple things kind of end everything out. Again, we start talking about these business tax deductions. Now go through the list also one more time with these business tax deductions. Guys, make sure that you're again using these particular things in relation to your business. Far too often, people think because I have an LLC, I have a business, I can write all this off. Here's the problem. Number one, you're looking to write things off, but you're not writing things in or doing things put in. And it's from a common sense standpoint, got to keep in mind, how can you write off all these thousands of dollars and you don't have no money coming in? It's like, why in the hell did this person get $30,000-$40,000 to write off write all these things off, and even on their job, they're only pulling in $25,000-$30,000. Could you want a cash 3? Could you receive an inheritance? Absolutely. But again, you need to be prepared to answer that question if asked. Okay, just kind of keep that in mind. You have to be able to do that. Question: can a non-citizen national start a business without paying taxes? Listen, here's the deal. You're asking the question, as far as being a non-citizen national, would start without paying taxes. I think I'm being asked this question because somebody's just trying to probe. At the end of the day, if you're making income in the U.S., you're a citizen, you have to pay taxes. If you're a non-citizen and you're not reporting income, or you're not reporting it and everything, I don't know how you'll be able to do that. If you're doing things and if you know the answer to it and you're doing it and it's not affecting you, I can just say that's what you're doing. But my recommendation, if you're actually, we're doing everything the right way, you're making the money, report the money, because if you ever get a call later on, you got to be able to answer the questions. I can just give you that bit of advice. I can give you advice on some things you may not know, but as far as I can tell you, when we start cutting corners and doing things like that, y'all gonna come back and bite you in the tail, and we ain't got time to do for that. We ain't got time to do that because when you're in business, period, one of the biggest commodities that you have, we learned that in grad school, is that time is the new currency. And I ain't got time to go back and fix stuff. And then when I got to go fix other folks' stuff, I'm charging a lot more money than it is to do it right the first time. So just kind of keep that in mind. Now, some of those common business tax write-offs that went off earlier was mileage and vehicle expenses, retirement savings, insurance premiums, office supplies, home office expenses, credit card and loan interest, phone and internet costs, business meals, business travel, startup costs, continued education, subscription and memberships, advertising, and self-employment taxes. Let me see if I look in here. Do I see anybody got any questions before? You quite welcome. Did anybody got any questions or anything like that before I disappear? In regards to anything for this business tax deduction, tax write-offs, anybody got any questions or anything like that before I disappear out of it? I guess not. If you do have any questions, guys, again, go to the Mr. Short Dollar YouTube channel. Feel free to leave. I do go in every day and look at the question that people have posted, in the actual comment section. So feel free to go there. If you do check out the video later, go to Mr. Short Dollar on YouTube. Make sure you post your questions in the comment section. And I promise you I will get back with you guys on there. So listen, I'm about to wrap this up because I got to go disappear, go grab my kids and everything. And had a blast talking with you guys and stuff. Got a lot more great information to come out with the last couple of days of the month. Just want to go over some of those quick business tax deductions that you guys can take advantage of, and also maybe dispel some myths in regards to things that people may have been already saying. You can write off this, you can write off that. Guys, again, it has to be done in relation to the business. And if you're not for sure, you just go ask somebody. But make sure you ask somebody that's credible and reputable. Credible and reputable. Okay, not just somebody been doing it for years and they seem to know what they're doing. Listen, okay, and that's not me trying to discredit anybody, but it's just you're just looking out for your most important person. That's you. Take care of yourself, guys. Appreciate you tuning in. Be safe, and I will talk with you soon.